It's Friday night in the A, and you know what that means. Kelly Price and Tori McElhaney coming at you on Rise Up Tonight, presented by AT&T.
What a week in the NFL. We see almost the most points ever scored in the Dolphins game. Then Taylor Swift is chest bumping and LFGing at the Chiefs game.
Our girl.
What could possibly be next?
Here's the thing, the NFL scriptwriters really gave us an award-winning episode this week.
Yeah, they were writing like rent was due. We do know what is next for the Falcons, a London date with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And as Ted Lasso would say, we're being goldfish this week. With that in mind, Tori, actually, I got you a little present. We got some Ted Lasso biscuits up in here.
You're kidding me. Biscuits with the boss, you guys.
Well, we are moving on from the 20-6 loss in Detroit. We're being goldfish, as Ted Lasso taught us. Let's talk about how they turned things around into a dub this week at Wembley. Let's huddle up about it, y'all.
Let's huddle up with Kelly and Tori on the world of Falcons football.
So even Lions defensive end Aiden Hutchinson said after the game, I'm surprised they got away from the run game. Atlanta had 20 rush attempts for 44 yards, which is not what we normally see from Arthur Smith's Falcons. Why did they get away from the run, and is that a problem that they couldn't get back to it?
Yeah, so the Falcons' offensive issues in Detroit stemmed from a lack of production on first and second down, and that was whether they were attempting to throw the ball or run the ball. Neither was working. And when you're looking at second and third and long situations, you're in obvious passing down situations, and that was a recipe that kept the Falcons shut out offensively. Talking to players this week, they really want to get back on track offensively. They all believe the way to do that is to make sure they see production and positive yards on first down. Start fast and hold the momentum. That's the goal.
On the flip side of that, the passing game left a lot to be desired too. Desmond Ridder went 21 of 38 for 201 yards, but being sacked 7 times for 62 yards brought that down to 139 net yards passing. A lot going on beneath the surface of those numbers though. Pass protection was terrible. That's not just the offensive line for one thing, which complicates the ongoing evaluation we're making of Desmond Ridder. Where do you stand on that, Tori?
Yeah, so when you go back and you look at all 7 of those sacks, I would argue that there was 1, maybe 2 that happened because Desmond Ridder held the ball for too long. Pass protection needs to be better. You're absolutely right. And that's not saying anything that the Falcons don't know. After the game, Chris Lindstrom said, look, we didn't get the job done today. We know we can be better than that. On Monday, Arthur Smith said we will be better than that. So let's see what happens when the Falcons go back to the drawing board when things honestly do not get easier against Jacksonville this week.
And while the defense kept the Falcons in the game late, they gave us some explosives early on. And guys on that side of the ball talked about how they need to put together 4 quarters. And the same could be said for all 3 phases of the game for the Falcons. The offense didn't seem to click at all in Detroit, but they've been able to turn it on late and need to start faster going forward. Special teams shaky as well. How do they put 4 quarters together in all 3 phases?
Yeah, so I've said this before and I'll say it again. A complete game does not equal a perfect game. The Falcons do not have to play perfect football in every phase of the game in order to play completely and totally together. Right now, they're just not. And that's not me saying that, that's Desmond Ridder saying that. He said after the loss Sunday that the Falcons have yet to play as a team with every single unit stepping up when it's their turn to do so. Again, this doesn't mean 4 quarters of consistency with all 3 phases of the game equals perfection, but it should equal production, which is something the Falcons greatly missed in week 3.
I like that. Perfection does not equal production. Well, it was the first road trip of the season, so you know it's time for a Fly Travel Fit photo shoot on the tarmac. We are walking and presented by Wells Fargo. Forget fake fall. Tay Davis says it is leather weather, and it is it now. The full leather matching set, it is a vibe. I love how he accessorized with some bright yellow sneakers, and of course, Prada shades pulling the whole look together.
Y'all don't be sleeping on Tay Davis now with the fits or on the game field. This man has been quite the tackler on special teams this year, and he's tackling this segment well too.
Next up, Younghoe Koo serving up a neutral moment in his khaki suit. My guy is always classic, always hitting us with a well-tailored, stylish suit.
Here's the thing, this fit, I know he wore it to Detroit, but I honestly could see it being a good London fit as well. Can you just see it, the London look with it?
Very classic, very classic. Well, we haven't seen CP on the football field this season, but that doesn't mean he's not slaying the pregame fits, because he definitely is. Silk graphic button-down shirt, ripped jeans, bright kicks. I mean, it just makes you smile. Just like he always is.
Here's the thing, how I have missed CP so much, and hopefully when he finally does see the game field again, he'll be just as flashy as this shirt is.
We can only hope. Finally, Michael Pruitt trying to make fall happen as well. I am with you, Michael. The warm brown, black color palette, light jacket. I am ready for that full time. Stop playing with me, Atlanta weather. I want to look like this.
Here's the thing. I'm such a big fan of this jacket. The color, the material, it's all working for me.
It's giving fall, and we want it now.
Giving fall.
Sunday marks the Falcons' third game played in London and second game played at Wembley Stadium, but it is a lot of these Falcons' first time across the pond. So we asked what they're all looking forward to most on this trip and our question of the week.
What are you most excited to see when you guys go to London?
That's a good question. So it'll be my first time going overseas like that.
That atmosphere during the game day is pretty special. It's something that you won't experience here. It's packed out, and the energy that the fans bring is pretty unique. So for sure, the game day atmosphere would be it.
Cool, like food joints, you know what I mean? Like see what kind of cuisine they got in the London side. I think the last time we went there, we ate pizza. Like, you know what I mean? We was at like an Italian joint. I'm like, it's probably not what London is known for.
I want to sightsee. I just want to see a lot of different things, and just being able to go to London, that's crazy.
The London Bridge, I guess. Yes. I hope we get a chance to see it. I don't even know if the London Bridge is the big bridge, but I just want to see the bridges.
All right, our guy wants to see the bridges.
Put it down.
Tori, what are you looking forward to most?
So I'm so glad that you gave me the biscuits with the boss, because a group of friends and I, coworkers, are actually going to the pub where they filmed Ted Lasso.
I'm so jealous of this.
Very excited, but I will say I'm a little hesitant about how my accent will come across in London. So I'm sure it's an acquired taste, so I'll let y'all know.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear those stories. All right, coming up later in the show, we go in the nest with some mates who have some love for the Dirty Birds, just like y'all do.
And the Lions-Falcons game was actually a women's in football themed game that celebrated women driving football forward within the NFL. That story is coming up next on Rise Up Tonight.
Rise Up Tonight is presented by AT&T and brought to you by the Georgia Lottery. Today could be the day. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. And Truist, when you start with care, you get a different kind of bank. It's time to rise up Atlanta. Kelly and Tori are back on your home for Falcons football. Fox 5 Atlanta.
Sunday wasn't just about the Atlanta Falcons and the Detroit Lions. Women in football were also highlighted at the game, and one of our local flag football teams got to fly out to be a part of the fun. Georgia Chambers has the story as we rise up for Atlanta, brought to you by Truist.
NFL action wasn't the only thing happening here at Ford Field in Week 3. The Motor City also chose to recognize one of the nation's fastest growing sports, flag football.
We're not playing powder puff. Get rid of powder puff. That is not what we're going to have to play real football.
Southeast Bullocks head flag football coach Marcy Cochran wants people to respect the sport. The NFL continues to invest in flag football. In addition to the Lions inviting teams to participate in a panel and highlighting the girls at the game, the Falcons hosted a flag football clinic earlier this month.
Flag football is the fastest growing sport in Georgia right now, and thanks to the Falcons for everything they have done to help us and every team in the state of Georgia just be able, anybody who wants to play, any school that's able to play, the Falcons will help you, and that is awesome, and it is just so amazing to be able to see the growth of it.
Wide receiver Ava King has seen the growth of flag football and encourages others to not count it out.
You think it's not as fun as watching men play football, but it can be. It's really awesome. I mean, these girls love it, and they play with a passion that's just unbelievable.
For the past 2 seasons, the Yellow Jackets have been undefeated. King thought she was getting herself into powder puff football, but quickly realized it was so much more.
When I started playing, that's exactly what I thought it was going to be, and it's not. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, we're running routes, we're catching the ball, we're pulling flags, we're running as fast as we can. Like, it's awesome.
Southeast Bullocks 2023 season begins next Wednesday. Georgia Chambers, Rise Up Tonight.
All right, in Detroit, Drake London said they straight up got punched in the face, which was really the quote of the week from a lot of guys. Tori, in your notebook this week on AtlantaFalcons.com, you talked about how they need to find rhythm and recover from that. How do they get back up from that?
So there wasn't an issue that we saw the Falcons have against Detroit that we didn't see them have against Green Bay and Carolina too. The difference was that the Lions didn't let them get away with it. The Falcons never found a counterpunch against the Lions. So what we're left with is a fork in the road. Down one lane, the Falcons evolve, figuring out the ways to make this offense move the way it knows it can. Down the other lane is continuing to see the same issues pop up every single Sunday. The only option in my mind is the first one.
And speaking of rebounding, Tori and I hope to do so with this week's hot takes after a not so great prediction week in Detroit.
And coming up next, we're talking football, the American kind, with our Falcons friends across the pond.
It's almost game time, Falcons fans. When the Falcons sack the opposing QB at home, you'll score a BOGO free Big Zack snack meal the day after the game. Valid online only at Atlanta area stores. Welcome back to Rise Up Tonight. Let's head in the nest with Kelly, Tori, and this week's special guest, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz.
How do you guys become Falcons fans across the pond? How did you pick this up and how long ago?
I had a lot of family in Atlanta. My uncle used to own quite a few restaurants across the city. I came out quite a few times in my early 20s. I wasn't into football back then. I got into football the year of that Super Bowl, obviously I had family in the area, a lot of love for the city, so it was a really easy choice.
Became a fan of the Falcons due to the fact that I used to fly birds of prey, and my favourite bird of prey to fly was the falcon. So when I got into American football in 2007 as a neutral, decided I really liked the game. 2008 decided I needed to pick a team. Realised there's a team called the Falcons. And there it is.
The NFL has made such an initiative to play in London, a lot recently. And so for you guys being there, how many times have y'all been able to actually catch a game and go to a game? And what are kind of some of your favorite games that y'all have gotten to check out?
Oh my word. So I probably live closest to London out of the four of us. So I get to at least 2 or 3 per year. I think the ones that kind of stick with me recently, obviously Falcons Jets, which was great. One of my best friends a Jets fan, so we had a really good day for that one. And obviously it was the first time I'd actually seen the Falcons up close.
For me, this will be my 5th time visiting London for the NFL. I went to the Jets game and I also went to the Lions game, which that nearly put me off going for life. That I have to say that is the most memorable one, not for the right reasons, but it is the most memorable one. The other games I've been to, I think, was the Bengals. I think it was against Washington, that ended in a tie, and then the Vikings and Browns was the other game I went to. But yeah, the Falcons Lions game will stick with me for quite some time, especially that ending.
Have you guys ever been to a game outside of the UK? Like, have you been to a game stateside, or I guess now they play in Germany and all that kind of stuff?
One of the really sort of things that makes the London games special is that you're in a stadium with 80,000 people that support 32 different teams. So, compared to the Premier League, where, you've got a stadium which is the majority, it's very, very strange to almost kind of be supporting your own team, as I found out against the Jets, and actually it not feel like it's a home game, or not necessarily feel like you're surrounded by your own fans. So I think that's kind of where it's really, really different. I think the NFL in the UK is growing at a really, really massive rate, and the atmospheres are just getting better and better at the games.
Having only attended games in the UK, I think it's a lot more of a family-friendly, party fun atmosphere, which is very not like that for our football games. It's a lot more hostile, to say the least. Whether or not that is replicated in American football games in the US, whether that's more like our football in terms of the way that the fans are a little bit more, very much behind the team or against the team, or it's a little bit more of like a that kind of environment. I don't know, but certainly the Wembley and Tottenham games, there's a lot more fun. So there's a lot of people there probably experiencing American football for the first time. Our football games, it's, they go to the pub, go to the game, go home. While this has all got, it's a full weekend event, so there's a lot more going on. The halftime act. Yeah, that's what I would view it as.
What do you guys have planned for the weekend, and what kind of are y'all looking forward to about this game coming up on Sunday?
I have to say, and I hold no shame about saying this, I am so hyped to meet Freddie the Falcon. It is unbelievable. As soon as I heard about it, I was absolutely bouncing off the walls. So personally for me, it's got to be meeting Freddie.
Yeah, I just love meeting all the fans. We last time we spoke to the fans from Atlanta Falcons Germany. We met those guys. Obviously, the ones that come up from the States, and it was just great to meet different people in different bars. And again, it's just a bit more of a sort of a party atmosphere. There was college games on that we could all watch and talk about. I'm just hoping for more of the same, really, just to see who we meet and get people's stories about how they became fans.
What are your guys' thoughts on this team? Like, where do you feel like they're at going into this London game?
Being a fan of the Falcons, we don't see many good defenses for quite a while. It doesn't happen that often. So to start seeing one in front of our eyes is quite good. I think we're really doing well. Even the game that we lost against the Lions, it certainly wasn't on the defense. I think they did the job for most of that game.
I guess I'm probably the more optimistic out of the four of us, and I'm just really excited to see how this offense develops. I think there's obviously been a real sign of progression. They need to take time to get these young guys working in a bit more of a cohesive unit. I'm really optimistic that over the next couple of years, these guys are really gonna start to blossom.
Well, thanks so much, guys. We appreciate the insight. This weekend's gonna be so much fun. Very excited for you guys to get to see your team on your side of the pond. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
On Rise Up Tonight. That's awesome. For anyone who wants to catch a full conversation, head to fox5atlanta.com. We'll post more of it on there, and we'll be right back on Rise Up Tonight.
Hey Atlanta, this is Head Crack talking, and you watching Rise Up Tonight, presented by AT&T.
It's like I don't get caught up in whatever narrative is after 4 weeks of the daily narratives. You can almost write some of these narratives and live and die every week by the narratives. I don't use that lingo. That's the sensational line. It's like the scene with the dudes chasing the guy down from Happy Gilmore. Run to give away our scheme. What the hell is going on? Now you're really trying to put me on the hot seat here. Some narratives.
The Falcons have a 1-1 record in London overall. They're 2-1 on the season right now. Tori and I taking our first L's of the season as well as not so hot week 3 of hot takes for us.
We needed to be checked. Our egos are way too high coming off that 2 for 2 of our hot takes the week before. So this is what that was.
That's probably true. All right, for the longest time, we only had one Kyle Pitts touchdown to look back on, and it wasn't even on American soil. Yes, you remember the touchdown against the Jets in London back in 2021. My hot take is that Pitts finds the end zone for the first time this season again across the pond. And I hope he brings back that tea sippin' Sally. That is one of my favorites.
I'll let you have that hot take in the end zone if you let me get us to the red zone. My hot take is that the Falcons take the loss to Detroit personally, especially in the run game. Detroit came into the game wanting to take the run out of it, giving teams a blueprint for how to sell out when defending the run against Atlanta. But here's the thing, outside of the loss to Detroit, the Falcons have ran the ball well when teams do that. I see Atlanta coming back in week 4 with a vengeance when the ball is in the hands of Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson. So my hot take, the Falcons are going to run the dang ball in London. Hats came in handy,
our
Kelly.
favorite hats back. We love a run the dang ball moment.
That we do.
We're bringing them back. We're bringing them back. I love to see it. Thanks for staying up late with us tonight. Hopefully we'll see a little bit more of this on Sunday night. But you know what? We're going to also have some biscuits here to end the show. Tori, you're the boss. I'll let you do the honors.
Oh, thank you. Cheers.
Cheers. Turning into a food segment out here on Rise Up Tonight. We'll see you guys next week. Good night.